So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our beautiful intimate conversation viewers around the globe. And welcome to another series and another guest on this series. And that is, our guest today is Richard Two Bears. So welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate being here.
Pleasure to have you, Bear. Bear and I have known each other for many years. It was a very long time, a very long time ago that Bear used to come up to the Northland here in New Zealand and hold some sweat lodges, and we used to have some fun. It was beautiful times. Beautiful times.
It certainly was.
Yeah.
I miss being up there. Maybe we can organize something.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Bear. Totally into that.
Might be a road trip on the cards.
Yeah, that would be fun. All right, so I'm just going to read your intro and let everyone who doesn't know you get to know you a little bit more. So Richard Two Bears is a seventh generation Canadian of Scottish, and actually, Bear, how do we say that?
Mi'kmaq.
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 Cool.
English people say Micmac.
Yeah.
Mi'kmaq people say Mi'kmaq.
Mi'kmaq, First Nations heritage. He has lived on New Zealand since 1992. Richard spent over 20 years studying with First Nations elders and teachers, learning the old traditional teachings. He is trained in the ways of sweat lodge, healing ceremonies, drum and rattle making, and carries knowledge of so much more truthful information of the First Nations people of Canada and the United States. Richard lives in the Tauranga area with his wife of 23 years, Nicky Two Bears. Beautiful. So, Bear, honestly, the first question that I really like to ask everybody is, were you an aware, awake, conscious child when you were little, and if so, how did that impact your family and your environment? And if not, how did it impact? Like, how did you get to where you're at?
Oh, I have a wonderful backstory. I'm a military brat, and it's really fun. I'll just explain brat, because when I say military brat, people think, oh, like a lot of New Zealand people think, oh, he's just a brat, he's a naughty kid. But for military kids, brat means born, raised, and trained.
Right.
So, and most military brats are very proud to be military brat. So for me, growing up wasn't easy. Broken home by the time I was 5. Orphanage for a couple of years before my father remarried. So, and times were a bit tough, but there was this underlying thing that, and I learned really quickly, probably when I was about 5 years old, that I was different than other kids.
Yeah.
I saw things differently. I felt things differently. There was I can say now, it was a connection with the earth and with the earth spirits and everything, but I didn't, at 5 years old, you don't realize that. But I could sit and watch birds pecking worms out of the ground for hours. I was a tree hugger by the time I was 6, because I would tell my dad, and I would tell people, I can feel the tree being alive.
No.
And then probably when I was 10 years old, we had a summer home in central Ontario in Canada. And we would go up there every summer. And there was a First Nations fellow that lived on the lake that kind of took me under his wing. And he realized there was something different about me. And from that point onward, I connected. If I close my eyes now, I can put myself in that forest where our cottage is, and it resonates in my soul. And so there was just a connection that I made with nature at probably 9, 10 years old, that at 74 I still have very strongly.
Beautiful. That's beautiful, Bear. And it is something that once you come into that deep connection, there's no breaking that, eh? Like there's absolutely no breaking.
And then when I started spending time with First Nations elders and everything, there was a little phrase that I heard, and it sounded funny to me, but then it resonated. And that phrase is, "The earth does not belong to me. I belong to the earth."
Mm.
And they talk about one-hearted people and two-hearted people, and the people that belong to the earth do not see it as something to exploit.
Yeah.
We are simply another species that we share this planet with.
Mm-hmm.
And and when it's gone, we're gone.
That's right. That's definite. Yeah. And it is that. I mean, I think today there's more teaching, in the early school environments, of how to live with her rather than on her.
Yes.
And I think that's a gorgeous thing. A lot of bush kindies and stuff now, having the children connect really deeply with the earth and her. It's gorgeous.
I think one of the saddest things I heard, I was at a school one day here in New Zealand, sharing teachings with children and everything. And a question come up: where do you think milk comes from? The grocery store. Where do carrots and potatoes come from? The grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And these children, 6, 7-year-old children, had no concept of milk comes from cows. You have to go milk the cow. Carrots and potatoes and vegetables come from the ground. They're a live, living thing before they go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
And it was quite disturbing, really, to realize that there was a whole generation of children that were coming into the world and not knowing the connection.
Absolutely. I know, Bea. I know. It is. It's very sad. I giggle. My granddaughter calls milk mook.
Yeah.
Mook.
Mook.
It's the mook truck. It's so cute. But yeah, it is a sad thing. And I think again, because people are growing their own veggies, they're starting to sort of get more into the old ways more, eh?
Yes.
And connecting back into the earth on a different level than they might have before. And I think that's a really cool thing, because I know the joy that my granddaughter gets from me being out in the garden and us picking the berries off the plant, that we've grown, and all of that. She just thrives in that environment. And it's, I think, a sad thing when that's not happening for a lot of children today. It really isn't. But it is coming back. I mean, it just is. People are doing more in that respect.
I mean, the local little school down here, Omokoro #1 school, they have a community garden that the children work in.
Yeah.
But I think all schools should have a garden.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they really need a big sports field that hardly gets used? No. Turn some of that into garden space and teach children how to grow.
Yeah.
Teach children how to grow food, because if you can grow food, you can feed yourself.
Yeah. That's
If
right.
you grow up thinking the only place you can get food is from the grocery store, you're eventually going to starve.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I know. It's a big thing. It's a big movement though at the moment, isn't it? Into that, coming back into the older ways, the basics of how to live here, really.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, really important. I mean, we see it, don't we? We see the disconnect, that people have been in and are in society in a major way, is in a disconnect from the true self and what their real being is, energetically. Right. And it's a sad, it has been quite sad time, but again, it's shifting, and more people are coming back to the truth of them, who they really are and what they're about.
The elders taught me that people people will follow their minds. And until they learn to follow their hearts, they're
Yeah.
going to be lost. They're going to be lost because
Yes.
the mind is easily influenced,
Yeah.
whereas the heart knows the resonance of the earth. The
Yes.
heart, the heart understands. And if you can follow your heart, you can follow your heart home.
Yeah.
And when you
Absolutely.
and when you get home, we're here waiting for you.
Mm,
And we will help you learn, and we will help you grow, and we will help you move on.
yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. So Bear, I see you've got your drums there behind you too. You know,
I
you're a
do.
drum maker.
I'll
And
just I'll just zoom up there for a second.
yeah, gorgeous. Look at
Here
the
we go.
patterns on there. Such a earthy looking drum, that one. It's beautiful.
That was made yesterday.
Oh wow, cool.
I
So
made I made 5 yesterday.
oh yay, that's really cool. So Bear, you know, in the sweat lodges, like explain sweat lodge, because I don't know that people really understand what that is. And I know for myself, you know, the profound, oh my God, when I first did the first sweat lodge, and I mean, it's so emotional. It's such an emotional journey. And I didn't want to come out of it. I felt so cleansed. You know, you're sweating and you think, oh God, I'll need to have a shower when I get up. But I felt like the shower was gonna taint me. You know, it was like the purity and the clean, you know, that
In
I had come into. It was just incredible.
in Ottawa, Canada, in 1970, uh, a native brother that lived down the road said to me one day, he says, "I'm going to a sweat lodge. Do you want to come?" I
Mm.
said, "What's that?" He said, "It's an Indian thing." I said, "Okay, I'm in," because I've known about my mixed blood culture for a long time, but not had access to it. So I went along with him to this sweat lodge in 1970. And in 2024, I remember vividly that very first sweat lodge that I sat in.
Mm.
And I couldn't stop going. How many have I done? I don't know.
Yeah.
We could be pushing a couple of thousand or
Yeah.
more. Put simply, it's the First Nations version of a sauna. End of story. Not. It's so much more than that.
Mm.
For example, one of my teachers, his name was Billy Mesa. He was a Quialicinu Indian from Southern California. His people call the lodge Pahalakichi. Pahalakichi, womb of Mother Earth.
Mm.
It's a small, round, dome-shaped structure covered in blankets, but when it's all covered, it is pitch black and dark. That represents the unknown. We bring a total of 28 rocks into the lodge, 7 at a time. They represent the directions: north, east, south, west, above, below, within. The rocks are heated in a fire. They're carried from the fire to the lodge by a firekeeper. The lodge facilitator has prayers and songs that they've been taught and been instructed on how to guide this ceremony safely. You come to the sweat lodge voluntarily. While you are there, you are the responsibility of the lodge keeper. And most lodge keepers, and especially myself, take that role very seriously. It's if you're coming to lodge with me, just know that I will take care of you. I will be there to support you. So when we do introductory lodge for people that have never been to lodge before, a group of people, the first round that we do a total of 4 rounds. The first round that we do for children. So all your prayers, all your thoughts, all your words you speak are for the children in your life, the children that you know, and your inner child. We finish the first round. People can leave the lodge if they want. Most people don't go out after the first round. But if you go out for a couple of minutes and we come back in. The second round we do for women. All our prayers, all our songs, all our thoughts, all our words spoken are for the women, the feminine energy in our life. Our daughters, our granddaughters, our sisters, our wives, our mothers, our grandmothers, our female friends. I really love the second round because of the 14 or 15 traditional songs that I carry. The one that to me is one of the very most powerful is the Woman's Honor Song. And I get to sit in the lodge and sing Women's Honor Song to my sisters. And that just moves me emotionally and just touches my heart.
I know, I can feel it.
fills my soul, absolutely fills my soul. It's such an honorable thing to be able to do that. So then we finish the second round and most everybody comes out because it's starting to get warm now. We come out for a couple of minutes, we come back in again, and the third round is for men. So again, all your prayers, all your words, everything spoken is for the males in your family. We finish the third round and everybody comes out after the third round because now we're real hot. And then we come back in and we do the fourth round, and the fourth round is for yourself. So in the ways that I've been instructed by my elders, we put prayers for everybody else ahead of us. We clear the way. Then we tuck ourselves in behind those prayers with our prayers for ourselves. Now, when I say that we pray for the children and the women and the men, it's also for all the species that we share this earth with. Lodge is with and for all of creation.
Yeah.
There's no room to leave anybody out. There's no discrimination. Everybody needs prayer. Everybody needs healing. So when we start doing more advanced lodges, we start digging deeper. So in the first round, we might do, what's your biggest fear? Let go of your biggest fear. Give voice to your biggest fear. So I'll share a quick story. I was sitting in the lodge with my uncle, Tom Louie, KP out, spotted snow from the Colville Indian Reservation in Washington State. And he said to me, "Tell me about your father." I said, "I don't talk about him. He wasn't very nice." He asked me 4 times. And finally, I said, "No, I don't talk about him. He physically tried to hurt me." And then Tom said something to me that really impacted on me. People had said, you got to sort that out. You got to go to counseling. You got to do this. You got to do that. Tom said to me, "So for the rest of your life, you're going to carry that anger. You're going to carry that shame. You're going to carry that blame. You're going to carry the guilt." And I burst into tears, and the tears rolled down my face, and I spoke about my father.
Yeah.
And I healed, and I let it go. So I've learned over the years that everything that troubles me, I can take to lodge.
Yeah.
And so, and it's a very, very powerful experience. People say to me, "Oh, this person's running a lodge or that person's running a lodge. Do you know anything about them?" And if I know about them, then I'll say, but if I don't, I'll say, "Well, I don't know about them." Ask them. Ask them where they learn. Ask them who gave them permission to do lodge. Because there are, unfortunately, a lot of people out there that have read too many books, seen too many movies, and unfortunately, there's even a couple of people that have come and sweat with me that have decided they want to set up sweat lodge and do it on their own without being trained.
Yeah.
When I learned to do sweat lodge, I thought, wow, I'm going to learn how to do this sweat lodge thing. This is really cool. I showed up and had to do 50 fires. I had to learn what happens outside the lodge. I had to learn to heat the rocks. I had to learn and listen to the prayers that were being made. I had to learn how to set a fire and heat the rocks. And the prayers that go with that
Mm,
before I was invited back in the lodge to learn how to facilitate in lodge. So if you ask somebody, where did you get your teachings? In my case, if they said, oh, well, that doesn't matter, I just do sweat lodge, I would not sweat with them.
yeah. Yeah.
I will not go to lodge with somebody that's not properly trained
Mm,
because it's dangerous. Nobody has come to any of my lodges and been hurt,
yeah.
but I cannot say that about all lodges. I cannot say that about other lodges that I've heard about
Mm,
because that's not true,
yeah.
including um, a couple of places in the United States and a place in Australia where people have died. And
Right.
that
Wow.
and, and that's because of the lack of responsibility of the facilitator.
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand that. I think emotionally for me, the first thing that really, knowingly that I was stepping into the womb of mother, that just emotionally for me, that was the tipping, but that set me off, and then, you taking us through such deep prayer and your song and the prayer, oh my God, it's everything. It's the whole part of it was just so deep and such a deep honoring. It's such a sacred space. And the cleansing that comes through because you're sweating out, there's the juniper, isn't it? Juniper berries and
Yes,
the stones, and oh my God, the whole
we
thing.
use we use juniper, we use sage, we use cedar, we use sweetgrass,
It's just incredible. It's an incredible experience with the
and
right facilitator for sure.
yes,
Yeah,
and remembering that it's with and for all of creation. So
absolutely.
you're in the midst of the most powerful prayers that you
Mm,
can make because no matter what's going on in your head, your heart is not excluding anybody or anything.
yes.
Your
Yeah,
head can think whatever it wants. Your heart knows the truth.
absolutely. Oh, it's such a beautiful experience. And I haven't experienced it again for years, like since those years back there. And I've often thought about it and actually did connect one time, didn't I, to see if you were running any when I was coming down that way. But it is, and it's an amazing experience. And I think for anybody who hasn't experienced, sort out, get down to Tauranga End and yeah, have a sweat with Bear because it's amazing. So, Bear, what else do you sort of help people with? You've got, because there's so much, the culture itself, is such a deeply sacred, there's so many different pathways and roads, isn't there?
There is. One of my biggest roles in the last few years has been I'm a military veteran, served in the Canadian military. And one of my biggest roles in the last few years has been a support person for military people
Right.
and and first responders. So I have online conversations. At the moment, I think I have 6 online conversations going on with people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just helping. Sometimes it's even helping them just get through the day,
Yeah.
or this 1 hour, and we do that by by teaching them, by giving them back to themselves, by teaching them to drive your own car.
Yeah.
That's an expression that I heard a lot. You got to learn to drive your own car. Well, I've got my driver's license. I can drive a car, but I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about this car right here. I'm
Yeah.
talking about if you're going to sit there and let people direct you and guide you, then you need to shut up and be happy with where you get to.
Mm,
If that's not the case, then you need to take charge. I
yeah.
tell people, I tell people, Mandy, I may have known you all my life, but the only you that I really get to know is the you that you let me know.
That's right.
You, on the other hand, know everything there is to know about you, good, bad, and indifferent.
Yeah.
So you're the only one. I'm the only one. That person over there is the only one, and that one over there is the only one that can make the positive changes.
Mm.
Because you know what you will accept, you know what you won't accept, you
Mm.
know what you need to undo. And all you need to do is do it.
Yeah.
It's really easy to make excuses. It's really easy to go, I can't do that today because I've got to go and I'll do it tomorrow.
Mm.
You know, there's a little word that I've worked really hard. See, I almost said it. There's a little word that I worked really hard to get out of my vocabulary, and that word is TRY. Try is the biggest excuse word that we have.
Yeah.
Well, if you come over here and we can do this program, oh yeah, I'll try to get there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You've just excused yourself from not going.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's being consciously aware about little words like that. So
Totally.
when we're working with people, I'll let you say try 2 or 3 times before I bring up the story about, are you really going to make the attempt to come and do this, or are you going to
Yeah.
keep trying?
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want a good life. We all want happiness. But we're the only ones that can give that to us.
Yes.
If you're waiting for somebody else to come along and say, here's this bag of happiness, it's going to be a long wait.
Mm.
First off, if you can't go get it on your own, you're not going to recognize what it looks like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because that bag of happiness that I give to you, that's mine.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's my bag of happiness. That's my
Mm.
bag of joy. That's
Mm.
my bag of positivity.
Yeah.
You might not recognize any of it. So it's learning to understand those things. Take responsibility for your actions. Take responsibility for your words. I have 4 words that govern my life: truth, trust, breathe, and believe.
Yes.
And those 4 words govern my life. If I'm in a situation, I run that situation through those 4 words. If it comes out the other side, then I'll have a decent look at it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come out the other side, it's lost somewhere in the universe and I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Truth, trust, breathe, and believe. And
Yeah.
breathe is because our breath is sacred.
It is.
If you're making a decision about something, if you're thinking about something, when I sit down to start making a drum, the first thing I do is I fill my lungs with air. I breathe. I breathe in the essence of everything that's around me. And
Mm.
that's a powerful experience.
It is.
So when people reach out, um, some of them get scared because I'm a truth speaker, and they
Yep.
not
I know.
everybody not everybody's ready to run into the truth headlong, but it's too important to candy coat things.
It is.
It's too
Mm.
important to to smoke screens. Oh,
Yeah.
but what about a little white lie? I told a little white lie because I didn't want to hurt her feelings. Well, you
Mm.
lied to her. So
Yeah.
you lied to her. So when she finds out you lied to her, you're really going to hurt her feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
So speak the truth.
Mm.
Speak the truth in all things.
Absolutely. And it's hard. I get that because I know for myself, I used to be, in relationship and not want to say truthfully because I didn't want to hurt the person, but actually I was hurting us both by not saying, and I
That's right.
really learned. And because of what we do, we are those people that are going to reflect back to those people that need to hear what they need to hear. And I have people, particularly my daughter's boyfriends mainly, but you're scared of my mum, eh? And they go, hell yeah,
Yeah.
because I will speak truth, and it's hard not to now. I just, it's every essence of me is that now. It's there's nothing hidden, everything's been bought out, so there's nothing anyone can use on me because I've already bought it all out there and told everyone,
If you
because
if
it's
you speak the
important.
truth, sorry, if you speak the truth, you never have to remember it.
No, that's right, exactly.
If you tell a lie, even a little white lie, you
Yeah.
have to you have to remember exactly how you told it
Yes.
every time you retell it.
Yeah.
Whereas the truth never changes. It's
No,
always the truth. It's always there.
it is. And it takes a lot of energy to hold on to those little white lies, that
Oh
really
yeah,
takes a lot of energy out of us.
it certainly
Yeah.
does.
Mm.
It does. And we're not helping anybody
No, we're not at all.
by
Not at
telling
all.
those little white lies. We're not helping anybody, and in fact, we're burying ourselves.
Yes. And enabling them to carry on with whatever it is they're up to.
That's
Yeah,
right.
for sure. And it's a really, like, now such that time where those smoke screens and those, veils, whatever we might want to call them, are actually really being exposed and taken away now. So whatever the truth is that you might see within is definitely going to show up, because it hasn't got the energetically, vibrationally, there's no room for it to hide, or the light's not going to allow it to anymore. It's really just, oh my God, things are really moving, eh?
I call them elusive delusions,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and they have no substance.
No.
So they'll tell one today, and then they'll tell another one tomorrow, another one the day after that, and they just have to keep adding to it and adding to it because, well, the one you told me last week I've already seen through.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's yeah.
It's fun though. I mean, not fun for some people that need to hear it, but it's fun in respect to knowing that what we do is we're assisting them into the light, because those little white lies, or those things that are, sitting around that they're holding on to and hiding behind and within, are just like you say, elusive, and they're not going to stay there forever. They can't.
When my daughter was really young, I was walking her to school one day, and there was a monkey puzzle tree,
Yeah.
and it had the little ball under the branches and everything. And I told her it's a monkey curled up sleeping. And she told her friends,
Oh,
and her friends told her that wasn't true.
yeah.
And with tears streaming down her face, she said, "Papa, you lied to me."
Mm,
And I never did again.
yeah.
It broke her heart and it broke my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. It would have. It would have.
And it was just, at the time, I thought it was just a funny, harmless little thing.
Mm, I know they can be harmful, eh? I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is at the moment, again, this time we're in, obviously, but all the time, but there's been like a real shift in the language we're using. It's like there's a lot of the old language now, and the old ways that we term something, put it into word, and lots of those words, the shoulds, the have tos, all of those sorts of words now we're moving away from, and finding new ways to express self, because they just don't fit anymore, which is a great thing. I'm so happy.
They they support the, the lies,
Yes.
and we're moving more towards truth.
Mm,
More and more there's truth speakers out there.
Yeah.
And it's hard for people to recognize them
Mm,
because they're not used to hearing the truth.
mm.
So when people hear a truth, they're not sure that it's a truth.
No.
But the more they hear them, the more they'll understand. The
Mm,
more they understand, the more they'll accept that it's the only way we can be.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a, it's like when I was going to the elders, there was other people going there too. And a lot of people missed the point because they were looking for something more than the simplicity of the truth.
Yes. Isn't that a thing though? Eh? It is. Like we
So
like to, sorry, we just like to make things complicated.
I was given the responsibility by the Grand Chief Tommy Gregory, who was the Grand Chief of the Okanagan Shuswap people in British Columbia. And he instructed me to share the teachings that I've been given, the way they were given, with all those that have ears to hear the truth.
Mm,
I took that statement on board, and it took me a while to figure it out because we all have ears we can all hear. But he was talking about the ears that we have on our heart,
mm,
because the ears that we have on our heart hear the truth, because the truth resonates in your heart.
mm. Yes.
So it's really important that people start learning to recognize the vocabulary that you use and the vocabulary that you need to move away from using,
Yes, for sure.
that keeps you locked into control,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is what they want.
Exactly. And deceiving self, eh? Because it's just deception,
Definitely.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know Spirit used to tell me a lot, look at where you're deceiving yourself. And I think I'm not. I'm really honest with myself. But I had blindfolds on to the truth behind a lot of it, and as I found out more about myself and my beliefs started shifting and changing, it was like, oh, I see what that means. I've been deceiving myself because I was in this other story, that was produced from out there somewhere. And
Yeah.
I was made to believe that that was what it was, that that was the truth, and that was really how it was. But oh my God, I just am so thankful that we're in this space now, in this time on the planet where, with all beings, that we're now shifting that old narrative, the old storylines, the old timelines that are caught in that storyline, and all of that. The planet is shifting, we are shifting, and I just love it. I love it. I know people are afraid, because they don't get it and they're not listening with their heart. But, it's a great time to be here. It's very exciting.
People need to learn to slow down.
Definitely that.
The, the earth has become, the world has become fast.
Mm,
Fast food, fast this, fast that. Everything is fast. I remember waking up one morning and looking in the mirror and realizing that I needed to shave. And at the same time, realizing that I had nothing to hide from the person in the mirror,
yeah,
which is a powerful experience.
it is.
But,
Absolutely.
but what went with that was the realization that if I have nothing to hide from that face in the mirror, I cannot have anything to hide from anyone
Mm,
on the big scale.
yeah.
So it was the ultimate become the truth speaker.
Yes. Yeah.
and and remember the teachings, remember what the elders said. Make yourself available to help people, help guide them through, help them understand. and
Mm,
and and everything is fast, fast, fast. I want it now, but you can't have it now
mm,
because you can't have it till you understand what it is.
yes.
And so the elders said to me one day, "What's this?" I said, "That's a pair of glasses." I said, "What is it?" I said, "What do you mean?" They said everything around us is mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, seen and unseen.
Mm-hmm.
When you start to look at everything around you in that sense, you start to get an understanding of what indigenous people see and have in their lives. Not just natives in North America, but South America, all around the world,
Mm.
including us, because before the church, and I'm not bagging the church or anything, but before the church, we all were connected to the earth.
Yes.
The majority of us were matriarchal people, and we were connected to the earth. And when we lost that connection to the earth, we allowed fear to come into our lives.
Mm.
When fear came in, the lies came in.
Yeah.
And we need to find our way back to the mother because
Absolutely.
she's there and she needs us as much as
Mm.
we need her.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, I love it. Like, I just love this planet. I love her. I love all the beings, all the creatures, all the people, all. And for me, it's such an honor to be in this body. And it wasn't like that all my life. I really wasn't in that space at all. But this body, I honor it so much now. And I used to hate it, and in many ways I'd talk to myself in such a derogatory way. And oh my God, the stuff I told myself was just shocking. And the switch, from that to really loving this form and knowing the real reason and purpose that I'm in this is just so incredibly amazing that I just honor this life. And I really, really don't know that I ever want to leave it, to be
Yeah.
honest. And
I,
that's my thing. It's like, just stop being so attached to it. No, I love it. I love it.
that you said something important about the message that we give ourselves. And I've caught people so many times and they'll laugh it off and think it's harmless. But they'll
Yes.
say, "Oh, I'm so clumsy. Oh, I'm dumb. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that."
Yeah.
And they're half saying it in jest and half not saying it in jest, but your heart doesn't know the difference.
Exactly.
Your
Exactly.
heart, your heart hears you speak those words, expecting that what you're speaking is the truth, and your
Mm.
heart believes.
Yeah.
Then you create yourself in this image that you've programmed.
Yeah, for sure.
And you
And
need to stop doing that and give yourself the positive messages.
totally. And the change in my body from me now actually reversing all of that, turning it around, absolutely loving this. I have noticed that the change, there's no pain. I'm not in the pain that I used to have. I mean, I work on my cellular stuff anyway, but that's all shifted. And the positive resonance within me now amplifies. I can feel my cells just joyfully coming into dance the more I speak beauty to my body and myself. And it's just oh, I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
People are too ready to let illnesses and different things define who they are.
Totally.
I have I have an autoimmune issue called Evans syndrome, which is a blood disorder. But that's not who I am.
No.
And I refused to collapse into that. And when I was in the hospital, I wrote a letter to Evan, telling Evan, telling Evan to get out of my body, to leave me alone, to mind his own business.
Yeah.
My doctor was so impressed that she photocopied it and has it on in my file.
Cool.
And it's making that positive effort to not be defined by your size, your weight, your appearance. It's like it don't get caught in that trap.
Oh, totally.
The elders taught me we're all like trees in the forest.
Mm,
Our skin is our bark, our hair is our leaves.
mm,
We're this beautiful forest made up of all these different trees. When you find a forest that's been planted by man, it's all the same kind of trees, and it's not a forest, it's not alive. It has no life. It
mm,
doesn't shelter other species. Other species are discouraged from being there.
yeah.
But when we stand in our circle, I had some t-shirts made up, keep the circle strong t-shirts. And it's a group of people standing in a circle, and it's keep the
Yeah.
circle strong. And that's what we need to learn to do. We need to learn to stand with one another.
Yeah, for sure.
We're, we just because I'm a drum maker doesn't mean that I don't like other drum makers.
Mm.
I'm actually friends with other drum makers
Yeah, for
here
sure.
in New Zealand because we're all doing our thing. We're all getting that heartbeat of the mother out there. It's not a competition.
No.
When I go to spiritual festivals and things like that, some of the ones that I've been to, you walk in the room and it's just dripping with competition.
Yep,
And it shouldn't be like that because we're all there for the same reason.
exactly.
The problem is that it's a grab for money,
Mm-hmm.
and we put a price on our connection.
Yeah.
And people say to me, well, you charge for your drums. I go, yeah, I charge for my drums, but look what I charge and look what they charge in North America.
Mm.
You know, um, I do drum healings, and people say, how much? I go, smile. And they go, what? Don't you want any money? I go, no, I just want to smile.
Yeah.
because
Beautiful.
because all I'm doing is playing my drum and putting the sound waves through your body, and you are accepting that. So you're doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe I should pay you,
Yeah.
And so
Um,
so it's not a competition. We need to support each other.
yeah, for sure.
We're
Yeah.
we're we're one-hearted people,
We
and we
are.
need to stand true and in our strength as
Mm,
one-hearted people,
mm,
and
absolutely.
and stop thinking that everything's a competition.
Yeah, totally. I know. It used to be, it used to play on me going to expos, and I'd have this stuff coming at me in many ways, and it was all around why I was so busy and others weren't sometimes. And and I it was saddening to me, and it used to affect me a bit, but now it's not a thing. I don't concern myself about what anyone else is doing. I'm on my own little buzz, and that's me. And anyone wants to come in and join me, that's cool. That's where I'm at.
Yeah,
So it's good,
exactly.
but I do know many that start up, and there's lots starting up now that are, worried about, oh gosh, there's so many others doing the same thing. But find your authenticity in it, and it won't matter, doesn't matter.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Be your true you. Give people your truth.
Yes, for sure.
Give
Yeah.
people your truth, and they will come back,
Yeah,
and
they will.
they will resonate with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's fun, isn't it?
Exciting,
It's
hey?
it's so exciting. I actually really get buzzed out on it, and it's just a joy. Every day for me is a joy. And the people that I meet, and the people that I continually keep coming in for me, it's just I love it. I really love it. And I think, seeing the change, like, you're saying that we all need to stand together. So much more of that is happening. And I thank the COVID era, because that actually started people off. That really made people look at, where the hell do I fit in this? What is it that I truly believe that I want my life to be? And already again, there's another wave of different things coming through, and it's all starting to bring people more in together and stand together. That's what we needed to do, and it's happening. And I love it. I love seeing how it's working. I know, again, I can say people are in fear around what's going on, but once you sit with them and you explain the bigger picture and get them to connect into that bigger picture, they get it, they understand it, and they just settle down. It's like, right, now I know what we're up to,
Mhm.
So it's a good thing.
I remember an elder saying to me one day, "Do you think that you've sat here and learned all of this for you? This isn't for you.
No.
This is for everybody that you will encounter."
Mm, absolutely.
And I feel really blessed that
Same. Yeah.
that I've been on this journey that I've been on, and
Same.
that I've learned the things that I've learned, and I share them
Yeah.
because one of the greatest things I have is my daughter and my son and young people. They're in their 30s now. I was going to say kids, uh,
Yeah.
young people in their 30s, who grew up around me and heard my stories and shared them with their friends.
Yes.
So I'll run into somebody that they went to school with 15 years ago, and they'll say, "Oh, can you tell me the story about such and such? Your son told me that story." And I go, "Really?"
Cool.
And so it was really amazing. And now they share those stories with their friends.
Yes.
So those stories are still being carried.
That's right. And we sort of, and I know I went through a space of this, it's time to let go the story. And yes, it is in many ways the emotional connection to the story, but those shared stories of experience, sharing those, often people go, oh my God, I had something similar happen to me. And oh, I just get now what that's about. So they understand, it helps people understand and grow. And that's, I mean, we hear it from Vikings. It was the old saga, was the
Yes.
thing. And the Indian, nationalities, their stories have always been teaching. And it is what it is. And I just love that too, Bear. I think it's important to share those.
They, as long as they keep getting handed on, the story stays alive.
That's
As,
right.
as long as
Absolutely.
the story stays alive, the history of us as people stay alive.
That's right. Yeah.
And 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 people can relate because I remember halfway through a sweat lodge, we come out and we're sitting outside, and this fellow says to me, he says, "Why are you talking about me?" I says, "I'm not talking about you." He said, "Yes, you are." He said, "You said this and you said that." I said, "I was talking about me. Those are things that I experienced. Those are things that I went through." He said, "Yes, but I went through the same thing." I said, "Of course, because you're a human being
Yes.
and we have similarities in our stories.
We
But
do.
because I can speak about mine, that gives you permission to speak about yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you speak about yours, you begin to heal
Mm,
because you tell your story and you tell your story. If you keep telling your story from the victim's viewpoint, you're going to remain the victim.
yes.
If you tell your story a couple of times from the victim's viewpoint, and then you start to tell the story from what you've learned about
Mm,
that, you start to tell the story from the healer,
yeah, for sure.
and you grow and you change and you
Mm,
heal.
mm, you do. Ah, yeah.
And we call that the magic in the medicine.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And we're surrounded by it. The magic in the medicine is all around us.
Yeah,
And I love it. I
I love
absolutely
it
love it.
too. And you're talking about us being the tree, the bark, the leaves. Um, there's that, somebody said to me about how when we view our body, and I know, I carried weight all my life, not all my life, but at moments, and it was like giving myself a hard time about that. And somebody said to me, The trees in the forest don't think about all that. They don't look at each other or themselves and go, oh, I'm way bigger than that one. Oh my God, I need to lose some weight, become smaller and all look the same. It's not how it is. And it just always stuck with me. And I thought, yeah. And I see these different trees everywhere. You know what I mean? People walking around all shapes, sizes, colors, the whole thing. And it's a beautiful mix. Such
It
a
is.
beautiful mix.
It absolutely is.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got to stop judging ourselves so much. I always say to people, you know, if we just stop judging, we come back to the purity of why we're here, and that is purely to experience and being in this form. And it's the judgment that creates these stories of whether it's good, bad, or whatever it might be, which taints the whole experience a lot of the time. So, you know.
The elders taught me. Tom said to me one day, he said, "You know that there's no such thing as good or bad. The Creator never created anything good or anything bad. The Creator only created. Humanity decided what was going to be good that Creator created and what Creator created bad."
Yes, totally. And through that judgment created fear into stuff, which then created control, and it all just snowballed, the whole thing. Big snowball now, isn't it?
It is. You look at a person of another race, fear comes in. You look at a person of another belief, fear comes in.
Yeah.
You look at somebody that's wealthier than you,
Yeah.
fear and insecurity come in.
Yes.
The elders taught me, Creator whispered in my ear in a way that resonates in my heart, which is why I believe what I believe.
Yeah.
That same Creator whispered in your ear in a way that resonates in your heart, which is why you believe what you believe.
That's right.
Who am I as a mere human being to tell you that Creator whispered the wrong message in your ear?
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
There's just no room for it.
No.
So
yeah, how can people get in touch with you? Like, what is anything in particular you're offering at the moment? Like any sweets coming up, or
no, there's been no sweats right now. I'm looking for a new place to put my sweat lodge up, and I've been dealing with a little bit of health issue.
Yeah.
but I'm very, very anxious to get back in lodge. It's been too long.
Yeah.
People can get hold of me on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
I also have a Earth Voice Drums page, and we're running a little bit of a special this month I'm going to put a plug in here, from the 15th of November to the 15th of December, $50 off any of my drums.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
But yeah, so if you could jump on Facebook and find Richard Two Bears, send me a friend request, and we'll connect.
Beautiful. That's lovely, Bear. And it's been so lovely chatting with you. We haven't had a chat for a very long time. It's been really lovely.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, I reckon. And yeah, I just keep seeing you out there. Keep doing your thing, obviously. And much love to you and Nicky and family.
Much love and many blessings to you. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity. And and to all those people that are going to watch this, and all those people out there listening, don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Learn to give you the best you that you can give yourself, because you're the only one that can do it.
Yeah.
And I trust in you, and I know that you can do this.
Yes, absolutely. They can. We can. As a global all, we can. Absolutely. Much love. Thank you.
And you, Mandy. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.